All right, day 4 of Total Archery Challenge Utah. I just got myself fitted with some new SheepFeet insoles, and I've wanted to meet Caleb and Mark for a long time, for years. They both started their company the same year as I did in 2020.
Yes.
Which is kind of the going trend. There's a bunch of dumb guys who started their company during COVID. Because like everyone, I mean, Montana Knife, same way. There's a bunch of us all did the same thing.
But I don't know if it was dumb because it seemed like it worked awesome with the COVID hit. Everybody was online.
Yeah.
Eyes were seeing everything.
Yeah.
So it seemed to work perfect for us.
Yeah, we were like January or February of 2020, and then all of a sudden COVID hit. But yeah, man, how are you guys doing? I'm excited to have you on. This is a father-son hunting company success story, doing a hunting company full-time, which is, I think, a lot of people's goals, because you get to have, like what I always say, the coolest job in the world.
Coolest job in the world. It's been amazing. We started in 2020, just like you said, and let's just shift over to you.
Yeah,
why don't you just start it back farther?
Mark is really excited to come on this podcast, by the way. Mark was just like, yes, I'm so excited to go and talk.
And he's lying. I kept saying, that's the guy you need to talk to, not
Old
me.
people in technology, they just don't blend, so the fear.
So, but it's a father-son thing, and now you... Let's go with you, because I love that you had something that you were doing for years, and your son was able to take it to like the next level.
Yeah.
You keep calling your son the boss, which is really neat to have somebody, like, I think a mark of a good leader is somebody who's willing to transition to somebody younger and bring them up. And that's really neat to see you be able to have the, not have the ego there and be able to work with your son and do that, because it's hard for a lot of people to do. So let's get your story, Mark. So you've been doing feet for a long time.
I've been doing orthotics for over 40 years. I don't know, probably close to 48 years.
Wow.
I started in high school. My dad was a podiatrist, and so he kind of taught me. Back then, there weren't a lot of places to send the orthotics out to get made, so he taught me to make them, and I made them for him. And a few more local guys said, hey, will you make them for me? I hate making them, the morning of the person's coming in kind of deal. Most of the podiatrists did. And so after school, I kind of wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I didn't really love going to school that much after high school.
Both.
Yeah, and so Dad said, hey, let's do an orthotics lab. And it just really clicked, and we had done it nationally for, like I said, over 40 years. And
well, pause, because I want to interject for a second.
Caleb worked really close with me.
He's one of the best when it comes to just those people that are incredible with their hands and know how to fix everything and work and do everything and can figure anything out. That's the type of person my dad is, right? Mm-hmm. So when he says, I didn't like school, but building an orthotic, it's like 225 different hand-touched processes you have to do to get this built and to be very exact. So he was exceptionally good with his hands. So then when he says, like, yeah, that kind of clicks.
And you were doing it before the scanners.
Yes. Before 2 weeks ago.
So it was one of the perfect fits for him at that time.
It was great. My father happened to be classmates with the president of the podiatry school in Chicago. So I went. He arranged for me to go back there. I went back and learned fabrication and biomechanics and all of that. And so that's how it started. And then my kids all worked, with us as a family business, and my wife, and then a few years ago, Caleb, we had talked about it before, but Caleb said, Dad, let's do it for hunters, because every time we'd go into camp and we'd all walk in, to have lunch or whatever, everybody's got their shoes off, rubbing their feet, and we didn't, because we're all wearing orthotics, and so I said, run with it. Let's go. We got everything in place and all the professional knowledge we've learned all those years, and we've just brought that into the hunting industry.
That's really neat. And honestly, getting to hear, I had no idea. Maybe a lot of people probably don't know that. 40 years, you guys are experts.
Yeah.
You are experts in this field, and that makes me feel way better about the purchase I just made this morning. Right? I actually got my whole team orthotics. I got 4 sets of them this morning. And hearing you guys have been doing this forever. It's not just you guys are going out and buying a thing and putting it in a shoe. You guys are custom making something with skill behind it, and you're doing it for hunters. We're going to get more into the product in a little bit. But,
and some people get a little. Yeah. They get when did you start? 2020, and it's like, oh, you're manufacturing this corrective device that's getting my feet back to level. there is kind of a barrier. That could be scary for people. But no, we have, within the family, generation after generation, we have been trained and learning all the knowledge with the overall health of the foot. So
You guys are feet guys.
we're foot guys.
I hear that's really popular on like OnlyFans and stuff now, being a feet guy. So
That's what we get all the time at
Yeah.
these shows. People
I'm
are
sure.
coming in like, I bet you sell these foot pictures and these these feet replicas for a ton on Foot Finder.
I'm not that original. I take it. Okay,
We've got some pretty good professional athletes. We could sell their feet if we wanted.
I'll bet. So now you got this idea to start SheepFeet, and one thing that I thought was really intriguing is you pretty much went full time right off the bat,
Right off the bat.
which is like not common. It's I mean, at least for me it wasn't. It took me 4 years. A lot of guys, it's a year, 2 years, 3 years in before they make that jump. Did it just take off?
Yeah, a part of it was that COVID time, right?
Okay.
And when I've started thinking of the idea and all these things hit, where hey, let's go take this to the hunting industry.
Mm-hmm.
Hunters understand frames are in frame packs. Like a typical orthotic is a very high educational barrier to a customer to have to explain what this benefit of this $250 orthotic, why this is different than just a $60, $80 insole off the shelf. So that's usually a hard barrier that would be going into that hunting would be a lot easier because they understand frames. So yeah, just went right into it at COVID, started marketing, started making them for people, and just grinding it out. And so the COVID thing really helped to get it going, but then just right from the start, just keep pushing it.
Yeah, and as hunters, I really cannot think of another industry that needs orthotics more. Like,
Yeah.
where else is there where you're putting
Holy cow.
Like, you can't compare us to ultralight guys because we as ultralight as possible. We're still 40, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, no matter what. 'Cause you need optics, rifle, ammo, food. So
Bare minimum.
we are putting the most weight on our bodies, and I think the most important thing that you can have in your pack is a tripod. But
That's right.
but the second most important thing is honestly your boots.
Your
right?
boots,
And
yeah.
I have a lot of foot problems. Like I roll my ankles, which we talked about. You're going to fix that for me. And I rub like my front of my toe box. I rub the inside of my foot, and I get heel lift. I switched over to Kenetrex 2 seasons ago, and it's pretty much solved most of that. I still, if my feet get when they heat up, I get some issues a little bit. I have to be very careful. I have to pull boots, change socks. I tape before I go. I run, not gaff tape, whatever that tape is. I'll run that before I get out there. I did buy a cheap orthotic for like $50 that helped me a lot, but it still wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And that was maybe like, oh wow, that's when I saw you guys. I'm like, I need to do this for me because you're gonna
Right.
solve. Why are orthotics important? Like, how are
Yeah.
you gonna solve that versus just buying a blanket shoe? Because I'm sure some guys can buy a regular shoe and it's fine.
Right. Yeah, most hunters, they're going to have that weight on their back. And why it is extremely important is our feet over time haven't evolved. So back in hunter-gatherer times, everyone was very lean, and there wasn't these hard man-made artificial surfaces that they were walking on. Yeah, there was rocks, but there was a lot of dirt and those types of things. So back then, orthotics not needed, honestly, because their feet are staying strong. They're on good surfaces. They're not overweight. Nowadays, most people are overweight or packing on a ton of muscle. And your feet are just a spider web of muscles and bones and ligaments. 25 bones, over 100 muscles and ligaments. It's almost like a spider web that's constantly moving. So when we put those extreme weights on our back, there's a lot of chance for fatigue and for wrist to set in and then to have injuries. So that's where an orthotic is great. The easiest way we tell it to people so that they understand it is we relate it to a pack without a frame to a pack with a frame.
Yeah.
If you have a frame pack, if you're a dude, let's back up one step, and you go to the gym and you work out your body, you get your back strong, you get everything strong, and you're about to go on a hunt, and you have a pack with a frame or a pack without a frame, you're going to take the frame pack because it's going to distribute the weight. It's going to help fatigue, cut down on fatigue. It'll help prevent injuries. And when you're going to start putting heavy loads in and going multiple days, that's where things are going to really pay off. with that frame that it's going to help you out so much. An orthotic is no different. It is essentially a frame for your foot that we have to make custom, unlike that insole that you were putting in your shoe that's close. It's like a size 9, right? But just taking your feet, you have really wide forefoot.
Huge feet, like Trump. Huge.
You have a really wide forefoot and a narrower heel. So it's going to be a little bit hard. Everybody's feet are different to get it dialed in. But this orthotic, because it's a very rigid frame, that's what's going to support you. And we have to make that custom to your foot. Otherwise, it'd be pushing into your foot and hurting it in certain places that you wouldn't want because it's not shaped to that specific shape. So whether you're a hunter or not, anyone can benefit from it. And we like to make it a very low profile when it comes into terms of orthotics. A lot of doctors do a super high arch, which is acting more of a brace, which causes atrophy. Ours are in what we call settle zone philosophy, where your foot, when you're standing on it and it starts to smush out, and before you start to improperly roll or collapse, that's where we want that arch and this orthotic to then hug your foot so your foot can still pivot, function, stay strong, and it's not completely reliant on it. We're just trying to help for those times when you have the heavy weights, cut down on the fatigue on these long hunting trips. You got to pack out. That's when real injuries can occur with plantar fasciitis or ligaments, different things like that, tendonitis.
Stress fractures.
Yep. So that's like, honestly, that is an orthotic in a nutshell. It is a frame to help cut down on fatigue and then make your boots custom. Like your Kenetrex, help it just dial it in even more custom to you and give you the exact support that you need for that complete custom boot system.
And we kind of talked about it earlier. It's not only supporting the bottom of your foot, it's supporting like the sides too, right? Like you're doing
around
like
the heel,
shaping and you're doing stuff like it's not just a flat. Like I in my mind, like I go and buy an orthotic on Amazon for $50. This is what I have in my mind. This is what I bought last year.
Yeah.
And it's just basically a flat blue thing I put in there, and that's it. So walk me through the process of like how this thing works, because you guys used to send out a mold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you still do the mold?
No.
We don't.
You don't now.
I think, we do have the mold on the website. It's an additional $50 fee because we have 2 shipments back and forth, and we have the cost of the mold, and then we have the extensive old labor process to do. So with the new process, I'll let you go over it.
Yeah, because you said 2 weeks, which I was like, are you being serious?
We used to be
the new
5
process.
weeks, 4 or 5.
Yeah, we used to be 4 or 5 weeks.
No, you said like how long have you been doing the scan thing?
2 weeks.
So you
Yep.
literally just started doing, and that's an app we could get.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, gnarly! Everyone listening, you literally could download the app, scan your foot, and then you have it saved forever.
Forever. That's
the cool thing. 'Cause I
part.
remember that was one thing you only kept it for like a certain amount of time before, right?
2 years.
2 years before, because you don't want to keep these molds.
Yeah, we have Connex boxes full of feet, just stacked.
So, but now you can have it. But now, like, you just scan this thing, put it into a freaking Google Drive folder. Or
it's in our
Dropbox,
database. Yep.
and you've got it forever, right there.
Yep.
That's rad.
And it is super, super easy that, it's taken us 3 years to develop that, and to where if somebody goes, well, this needs a little more arch, or we need a little, we can very easily go back into your scan with the data and raise that arch and then reprint. Now we're 3D printing these orthotics out of a high-density polypropylene, which is a material that I've used my whole career to make orthotics. It's kind of a standard, and it is a great product.
Okay.
Yeah, the cast art technology is what you're talking about that we just launched, that we developed. The whole bottleneck in the past has just been production, because we would hit times of 4 to 5 to 6 weeks coming up to the hunts because people would procrastinate. And that correction process on the foot, we could not rush.
Hunters don't procrastinate.
Not at all.
They don't wait till the last day to buy their freaking.
I wonder how many tripods you're just getting ready to ship out right before the hunt.
I sell tripods all year long, listeners.
Yeah.
Not just the day before your hunt.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's like, you see, like July is a really good month for us, right? It'll be our biggest month so far this year. And then August, September, then like right gets October, like your hunt's October 21st.
Just drops off.
Dude, October 15th, they're just going nuts and ordering stuff to get it in there. The hunters are awesome. But
yeah,
and it takes us, it used to, it won't now, but when we did it before, it's very time consuming. They do that impression, and we fill that full of plaster, and then
Really?
we pop the replica of their foot out. Then we correct that. We have people that then have to go and rebuild the foot, put more plaster on there and shape it. We have specific contact points, but it can literally take half a year to train someone to where they can on their own, if not longer, be able to shape and do that. And that's where we always bottlenecked, was
Always.
And now you can take that
employees.
file and put it right into a 3D printer.
That's it. Yeah. So
it.
now instead of all of that and the labor intensive of heat pressing and grinding all the excess off to the shape of the foot, now that CastR technology is what we've been developing. So you just scan the foot with an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, you don't need the app. You can find someone with an iPhone and scan it and delete the app. Like, it's just needed to get the scan
People
at
who
this
don't
moment.
use iPhones are weird. Like Nate from Olin uses a Droid, and I'm like, why are you so weird? You own, like, come on, it's 2024, Nate.
Get
You
an
gotta-
iPhone.
Get an iPhone, dude. It's a
It's
weird
the duct tape that gets me
We're working.
holding it together.
We're
Yeah.
working on getting it developed on Android, but that's a lot harder for our application because iPhone already had the depth camera really dialed
Gotcha.
in and very nice. So being able to go straight from that, but we're working on Androids. You don't need it. You can find someone with it, or you can just order the kit online, but it does cost extra because we have a lot of extra work going back to that process. But you just scan your foot with the phone, and it takes over 500,000 depth measurements of your foot from that picture. So same camera you use to scan your face to log in, unlock your iPhone, same exact system. Scan 500,000 depth measurements of your foot, and on our back end we have a 3D model, and then we build and do everything. We've put it through our patent pending process, our proprietary correction process. It's all done digitally now, which is what's so cool. And then it just generates the orthotics custom to you and your foot, and then we just load up this giant 3D printer and print them all out, and it's awesome. It's strong enough. I always worried about the 3D printing in 2017 when I was watching it. And then about 2019, from advancements, it's like, okay, it's getting there. 2020, it's like, let's start really going hard and looking into this. And then 2021, we were full steam into it.
So I'm a hunter, and I want to get some sheep's feet before season. I get this app now. When am I getting my sheep's feet?
So our normal production times, we were around 4 weeks. Right now, production time, because it's before the hunts, is about 2 weeks. Our goal is to get this around a week.
That's rad.
Just turn time. Yeah,
That's
so
rad.
get them. We'll have 7 days, and they'll be shipped out to you. That's the goal, and we're just constantly fine-tuning all these new big systems that are also new to us to get it quicker and smoother for you.
When you say big 3D printer, are you printing like 10 different pairs at a time?
We're printing 60 different pairs to a time.
Really? And it knows which everyone's different and knows that?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
really? That's
So
like,
we just like generate
and
a whole batch.
how many like things are there on their heads doing it?
It's one printer generating 60 pairs, so
Oh, so it's
120 parts.
It
Yeah.
lays down powder, and then the next arm comes back, and
So if you imagine a big cube,
Yeah.
like let's just say 1.5 by 1.5 by 1.5, right? A big cube, that it just packs that full with as many parts or orthotics as you could get. So, and we're fine-tuning that packing code to get more and more. We started around 40, we have it up to about 60, and then we're hoping to be like 80 to 100 within the next few months as we fine-tune that process. But yeah, it just 12 hours, it prints the whole build volume.
So, how many sheep's feet have you guys sold in 4 years? Is that
Oh crap!
no idea.
I could count it up. I'd have to add it.
I mean, do you think it's like, I mean, the thousands, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. You're saying 60. I'm like, wow, you're selling a lot more than I thought. That's a testament to me of like how many people are using your stuff.
Probably around like 40,000 pairs.
Really,
Yeah,
that's unreal.
ish.
That is awesome, you guys.
Give or take. It might be a little less, a little more. I don't know. That's a number.
So that's a testament right there.
35. I'd say
listeners.
35 probably is a better number.
That's a testament right there. 35,000 pairs of sheep's feet, 10,000 orders a year, basically, since 2020.
Mhm.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And it's going to get better now because that involved that process. Now you're going to be probably doing 60 or 80,000 a year, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
At shows, what would everybody say at shows?
Say like,
When they'd come up, people would come up to us at shows, and that was the biggest concern was I was too scared to do the
Imprint.
imprint
Yeah.
myself.
yeah, did I do this right? Did I? I don't think I did it right.
So they come up to us, and now we're hoping it just eliminates that barrier of entry of people being scared, because you just download the app, hover your foot inside the
And it
outline
says
of the foot.
good.
And there's green light indicators, level indicators. And so if you get the 3 lights good, you're good to go. Like, put it around the outline. And that's us, like, dumbing it way down. Like, hey, you're way in the safe zone. Even if you took it off, it would still work.
So when you told me you need to scan my foot, I literally thought I was going to come over here and have a big machine over here. And then you did it with your phone, and I thought, oh, this must be their app, like for them.
We did.
But it's for everyone. Like, everyone can go get that app and scan their feet and do it. That is freaking huge. That's entrepreneurship right there. That's the American dream. Like, that's rad, building that out. And you guys patented it.
Yeah, we're patent pending right now.
That's awesome.
Everything's in. It's either the American dream or it's been the American nightmare for 2 years. But we're just glad
trust
it's
me, I'm
finally
working
here.
on. I have like 4 patents going right now, on top of like the other 4 I already have.
Yeah.
Patents. Or did you have how many kickbacks did you get? Are you into it?
We're almost at our first.
You're gonna get some. Like, it's
Probably.
like if you have never patented something, it isn't like you just patent it. It's like they have some freaking tool that goes through and is like, oh, well, this looks like this thing that Nike did in 1962. So what's different? And then you got to go back.
Yeah.
And then the lawyers gets more money.
Yeah.
Every time it's like $5,000. It's like
They just take it out of you.
I remember my first patent, like, oh, it's only gonna be like $6,000. And then $20,000 later, I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Every
it's
time it's the
crazy.
turnbacks. Those lawyers, man, they get their money.
They know how to just suck
But
it
when
out.
they get it, it's worth it.
When you get it and you get it right, it's worth it. It's worth doing, and I'm a big proponent of patents, depending on the product that I'm doing. What you're doing, that's obviously something to be patented for sure.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
Technology. man.
honestly, I don't know how much I want to go into that, but now you technically can start selling that technology.
Yeah, we
Like, you
could.
technically to like some of these running stores or whatever, and like get commissions or whatever it is. So that's a really cool thing to have
Yes.
and do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something we definitely needed this patented, because I mean, it's not really even mainstream. They have like weight plates that you can scan on, like they're glass, and they'll scan your foot from the glass. They'll use, like, some people will click on an external hardware LiDAR camera and like go around the feet. Most of this is all in just doctors' offices though.
Yeah.
Which is where it's hard, because no one wants to go to a doctor's office and spend $600 to $1,200 on a pair of orthotics when it's a really good piece of gear that everybody can benefit from. So that's what's fun, is to get this all patented, to make it very easily accessible for the public and make this otherwise scary, hard process very easy.
So let's talk about now, like, success stories and like you guys getting people's feet fixed. That's a lot of feet, 40,000 feet.
Yes.
So what percentage of dudes are calling you and telling you that you changed their life?
You're up.
I'm up.
It's cooler for him than it is me. It's still really, really cool for me, but
Probably the most gratifying part of this whole thing, besides seeing Caleb run with this, is being able to hear the success stories and have people at the shows go, game changer. It's unbelievable. I thought I was going to have to quit hunting. I couldn't hike. I couldn't. Now I'm going. You know, I'd used to go on sheep hunts, and I'd have to take a day off or 2 days off, you know, after we'd got in there. And now I'm going every day, and I have no problems. Because when I was making them for doctors, I never heard the success stories. You know, that was the doctor doing it. I just got the complaints, or, you know, this isn't quite right, or this, you know, whatever. But it's been phenomenal. I've had people I thought, you know, at shows, and they're kind of like, they see us and they lock in and they start booking over, and I'm thinking, oh man, is this guy ticked? Is this guy mad? What's he going to do? And they come in and say, you saved my life. I can walk now, where before and we want you to use these things in your everyday shoes. If you're paying for a custom orthotic, we tell them it's not just for hunting boots. It's for your tennis shoes, for your work boots, your shoes that get that benefit of the support all day, every day.
yeah, it was so cool, because when the doctors would order, similar to a dental retainer, they would just take the cast in the foam, or however they did it, plaster Paris casting, and they'd send it to him, because he was the lab that would produce it and the device, and then he would ship it back to them. So you never heard from the doctors. It's like, hey,
they were
thanks.
telling the doctor how great he was.
Yeah, except
They were telling the doctor,
yeah, if he wanted them cheaper or something. But doctors are great. But then that was cool, seeing him like getting all these people like, I love, like, it's taken away my lower back pain. It's done, there's just so many health benefits, basic health benefits that can come from it. And seeing him be able to, like, get that feedback and people come up and talk, and it's like, yeah, that's because we have been doing this for 40 years, never really getting him never hearing the gratification of what he's been doing in his trade, and then getting it. So it's been really cool to see that. But it is cool from the people.
That's my favorite part. So listeners, if you are running my stuff, I love to hear your success stories. I love to hear, man, this stuff's awesome. It makes me more motivated. So, like, same thing, you run SheepFeet, send him an email, send him a DM, like, dude, this is rad. Like, it means the world to somebody who's putting their life into something, into a business. And really, the cool thing about the hunting industry is we just love hunting, right? And we're doing it because we want to make you more successful. And, like, getting to live vicariously through my customers, you get to go on sheep hunts, right? I haven't done sheep hunt yet, or go on moose hunts, I have thousands and thousands of tripods out there now, and they're going to be used all over the world this year. And that's just so cool. That's just so cool, man. And yeah, what percentage of hunters do you think need orthotics?
You know what? Actually, every one of them could.
Really?
Yeah. An orthotic, one of the biggest complaints is people say my heel hurts, or the front of my foot, the pad of my foot. Well, when you get a good orthotic with a good, a rigid frame to it that's made to you, now you're dispersing your weight through your whole foot instead of heel, forefoot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And your arch collapsing and that. So almost all hunters, in the podiatry world, and and I've seen the studies and that, almost everybody, because our bodies have not kept up size-wise with our feet, or our feet haven't been kept up, almost everybody could benefit from it because of the hard surfaces we walk on, to get that support. And to help you walk straight with your knees, your ankles, your hips, your back, so really the majority of people, even if they're not having problems, can benefit by preventing problems.
Yeah, it's just going to keep you in the field longer down the road. Like, if you're that 1% of person that's actually doing foot exercises and strengthening your feet like crazy, you could maybe go without it, right? Okay. But it's when you start compounding weights, throwing heavy packs on your back, and start doing those things, like, hey, if you just have an orthotic, it's going to be a couple $100. You can use an HSA, FSA card. It's going to last you 7+ years. I mean, hell, arrows are so expensive now.
HSA
and FSA card approved.
Really?
So yeah, it's a health device. But all of the gear in the hunting industry is crazy expensive, right? But a $200 piece of gear that's going to be for your health, that will possibly keep you in the backcountry and hunting longer and keep injuries from coming up, help out with that. In our opinion, it's the number one piece of gear that you could buy, and it's not that much money if you break it down over time. Like, insoles are $60-$70. They're going to last you a year to 2 years, 3-4 months till the cushion packs out if you don't have a cushion problem with your foot. But this is going to spread way farther than that, and it'll be the best investment you can make, maybe next to a tripod.
Well, honestly, boots are the most important thing you're going to run, because you're on them all day long. You're on them. And, like, I've had hunts ruined by my feet where I've had blisters, I've had issues. I used to run a flatter pair of, like, I don't want to name the brand, but I don't run synthetics anymore. Mm-hmm. Synthetic boot, because everyone wanted to go synthetics, and, like, side hilling, it just destroyed me. Yeah. I mean, blisters like crazy all over my feet, and had to taping it up. And we were talking, this is like in the Frank Church, having to do 16-mile pack out round trip on an elk, and it just wrecked me. My feet literally felt flat. I don't know how to describe it other than, like, I felt my feet flattened on that hunt from that. And I'm excited to see this. You guys keep mentioning, like, I want to talk to a couple of things. I want to talk about the ankle rolling things. You take care of that too. But I want to talk about, like, you keep talking about, like, your hips, your back, all that stuff. I wasn't really thinking about that when I did it. You guys were, so you're saying, like, these are going to help my hips. Sometimes I get hip pain and knee pain.
If you think about it, if you've ever done construction or anything, mm-hmm. if the foundation of your house drops, mm-hmm. what happens to every room in the house?
It all starts sinking and moving.
It starts sinking. So it's the same way. There's it's called the kinetic chain, and that's where, it goes from your hips to your knee, from your ankles, your feet, to your knees, to your hips, to your back, to your shoulder, all the way up your spine. Mm-hmm. That if your arches start to fall and you're pronating or supinating, it's going in or out. It's the same thing as your foundation falling, and it throws everything off all the way up the chain.
Really?
And yeah, we
That
talked
makes sense.
to so many people. It's a really great thing. It took my knee pain away. It took my hip pain away. We're not claiming it's going to do all that, but that's definitely something that happens. If we get your base sturdy and working the same, it keeps everything else in alignment.
You know what's funny, and I think these are going to help me a lot. I used to have a lot of hip pain, and I work out like 4 days a week, at least. And I attributed my hips not hurting the last couple of years to me working out and doing more stuff. But I wonder how much it has to do with just changing to the Kenetrex and like having that heel raised a little bit, and not those other flatter boots.
I don't know.
By lifting. But I'm excited I get some like IT band issues in my knees, and I do get a little hip pain every once in a while, especially when I get heavy. When I get heavy, I start getting some hip pain. I'm always coming out heavy,
I never
I better come sit next to you.
Gill. Oh,
So I make you look skinny.
I'm always coming out heavy. But I'm excited for that. Like, that sounds like pretty epic to be able to have this hip pain taken care of through an orthotic. And that makes so much sense now because I'm like, if I'm, like you said, what's the word, supinating and
pronating is when you tip in.
Yeah.
Supinating is when you go out.
And my instructor at the gym is always like, so you supinate, bro. I'm like, shut up, dude. Tell me which way to go, in or out. Tell me which way to go. But that makes so much sense because, cause now I'm rolling in with that weight that's going to cause force up here, cause that hip pain up here. Yeah. Wow, that's really neat.
Yeah, if it's a structural alignment problem with your body, very simply, things are thrown out of whack and it's causing stress on it, orthotics can be amazing. If it's another issue, just got to figure out what it is.
Okay.
We got doctors and different things, but
let's talk about the ankle rolling. Can you put that into mind? Because I roll my ankles all the time. I just have weak ankles. I don't know what that means to me, but I roll all the time.
Heel stabilizer is something that comes on the back of the orthotic where the heel is. Essentially what it's doing is it's making it flat. So when your foot is rolling in or it's rolling out, now that this is flat, when your body weight is on the orthotic, it doesn't allow it to roll in or out as much. So it just gives you that extra support within the ankle and also just keeping that alignment at level.
Did you put those in my son's stabilizers in my son's?
Yeah.
I did not.
We need to.
He said he didn't have any problems rolling his ankles?
He tore his knee last year rolling his ankle, coming out on an elk
Well,
back
then
out.
we need to add that on
Let's
to
add
his.
those to his, please. He literally just had to have surgery because he rolled his ankle packing out an elk last year.
Yeah, I asked him, do you wear your shoes or do you roll your ankles or roll in or roll out? And he's like, no, I'm good.
When he
so
walks
I'm like, okay,
around the
let's not do
house,
it.
you hear him coming. He's like, clack, clack, click, clack, click, because his ankles crack.
Oh my gosh.
He cracks like crazy. We both do.
He's done for.
He's done for. So yeah, we need to get him stabilizers in there.
We do. Yeah, we'll put that on.
I put some miles. Like, people talk about having llamas and goats. I have kids.
You have kids?
I have 5 kids. I just put some miles on the kids. Like, get in there and pack this thing out. But I feel kind of bad because, I don't think I overpacked him on that elk, but I made him carry a hind, and it was late at night.
That's a lot for him. He wasn't the sturdiest build. He's still young.
He's still skinny, and he rolled it. I watched his knee pop, and I was like, oh. And then he hunted, then we rode dirt bikes and hunted for another, because he was middle hunting. He's like, we're not getting it fixed now. So we hunted through, killed a coos deer, killed some other stuff, and then now he got surgery on it. But
yeah, if he just had surgery, we need to get it put on there.
We could stabilize, just add that to it.
We'll get her added.
So another cool testimony to you guys is a lot of big name people are running your stuff. Mm-hmm. We were joking, me and Caleb were joking, and I'm like, man, I love, I give away, a lot of guys run my tripods, and then you could see it because they're running it and their pictures on their pack. And I'm like, no one knows what's inside my boots.
No one.
I could think, for you guys to be that successful and have no one be able to look inside someone's shoes, it's pretty impressive. But a lot of big name people are running your stuff. Who's running your stuff like big name dudes?
Aaron Snyder, Brian Call, Dan Staten, big names.
Brad Hunt.
John Dudley runs SheepFeet. There's probably a lot others.
There's a lot of dudes.
There's a lot. I'm trying, how big?
I put you on the spot with that. It doesn't matter. Just like guys in the industry.
There's just a lot of people, and a lot of the people that enjoy the most is like the guides.
Yeah.
Those guys are very trustworthy, put the miles on, so we appreciate all them running it. And it has all come down, a lot of the success has just come down to mouth.
Yeah.
People just spreading and telling people, hey, if you're putting the miles on, you need to have a pair of SheepFeet. So that's been really good coming from guides. So the big names, like, although they're great, we just got a lot of just like killers and hunters and people that really put miles on, that from the beginning when we got it in their boots, it's like, go test these and just try it. And now they're the ones spreading the word. So that's been great.
Yeah, great products sell themselves. So these guys are selling that many things, not because it's a gimmick, it's because it works. And if they're not getting, my point was like, the way they're selling so many products is they're going to camp and people are like, my feet are like, oh, you don't have sheep's feet? And when I say a lot of big names, I just feel like everyone I talk to in the industry runs your stuff. You know what I mean? They run, you gotta get sheep's feet, you gotta get sheep's feet. That's how I ended up here today is Brad from Gritty was like, you gotta go get some sheep's feet. They're life-changing. And Brad puts on like more miles than anybody I know. Cause like,
Brad's a stud.
I mean, they want to act like Brian's all gritty and Lamford's all gritty. Brad's going up and back past those guys 6 times by the time they get up the hill because he's filming them. You know what I mean? Like, Brad is a mountain goat. And I'm joking about Brian. Those guys are freaking hardcore hikers.
Yeah, Lampers is a stud.
But Brad,
he runs them.
Yeah, Lampers runs them. There you go.
He's one of the first.
Yeah, but Brad is doing the same thing Lampers is doing, almost times 2. Do you think about it? He's a savage. He's a savage. I raced him at Western Hunting Expo, or not, I mean Western Hunting Summit.
Okay.
First thing, 50-pound pack, initial ascent, and we had to race up this hill. And dude, I was just crushing him. I had like 20 feet on him until we got to the hill. And we got about quarter way up this hill, and I'm starting to feel it. And dude, this freaking pack mule just passes me up and just keeps going. Dude, he is next level in shape for hiking. Like, like if there was, like there you can learn so much in a CrossFit gym. That guy, he gets his miles in on the mountain, and he's running your stuff, and he loves it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a stud. That's been really fun, just rubbing shoulders with all these cool people, and just helping to get these in their boots.
A thing on that line that I really love is you can be sitting here, and this happens all the time. You'll be sitting there, and someone's kind of on the fence, and they're sitting there questioning. Hunters will walk by and say, "Game changer! You're an idiot if you don't get them." They changed my life with my hunting, and then they'll go, "Oh yeah, how do you know that guy?" No idea, and they'll walk off, and somebody else will come through and do it. So that word of mouth is really fun to hear.
Yeah, and that's what you need. Like, great products sell themselves. Like, trust, especially when it comes to feet, like, this is a great way to go out of business, to create an orthotic that sucked.
Yeah.
Like, if your stuff didn't work, like, there's nothing that pisses you off more than bad feet. Like, it just ruins a hunt. And anyone who's experienced it, like, knows, like, there is nothing worse than having to sit there and tape up blisters or pop blisters, and and you're walking, you can feel it just, oh gosh, it's the worst.
Yeah, sometimes, and boots sometimes just don't jive with people's feet because our feet are so different and so custom. So when you throw that in there, it just helps that boot be shaped to your foot to cut down on a lot of those micro movements that give blisters and do those types of things. So, I mean, good products, people get a little hung up. Like, it's a couple $100. But, like, it's just like your tripods. Good products cost money.
Dude.
And they cost money, and they're going to last.
I swear, like, if I have another person tell me a tripod's expensive or SheepFeet are expensive and they have, like, an $8,000 custom rifle that they might pull the trigger on once this year if they're lucky, shut up, dude. Like, it's like everyone wants to buy it. Like, no one has a problem buying a custom-built $5,000 rifle, but then they're like, oh, insoles.
Yeah.
You're going to use your insoles every single day of that hunt.
Every single day.
If you're lucky, you're going to pull the trigger once. If you're like me, you're probably going to pull it 4 times. On that hunt. You know what I mean? You can't shoot what you can't get to, and if you're miserable, like, it's going to suck. And even those miles on, I'm excited for it. I'm going to spend a ton of time in the field, so I'm going to put them to work.
Yeah, so, it's like finding, just real quick on your point, like, if you can't find the animal and keep hunting, whether it's tripod or it's SheepFeet, like, if you don't have a good tripod to be able to find the animals, you'll never get the animals. If you don't have your feet and your body healthy to be able to keep hiking and not take a morning off and sleep in, like, you're not going to find that animal you just waited all year long to get. You might find an animal, but you won't find the animal that you've been searching for. So it's just so important to take care of the important parts of the gear list and your body, and just get things dialed in so that you can keep hunting.
So we're going to get into hunting now because I love supporting hunting companies. So on that point, with the custom rifle thing, to prove a point this year, I've gotten a factory Browning X-Bolt 30-06 Woodstock. I'm running that for every single hunt.
We shot an X-Bolt last year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, my kid shoots an X-Bolt. He shoots like the X-Bolt, what's a Hell's Canyon. But I'm shooting a Browning X-Bolt 30-06 Woodstock for every hunt this year, just to prove a point that you don't need to have a custom rifle to kill animals. You need a tripod, you need good boots, you need time in the field, and you can kill anything with what you got. Bring what you got. I honestly believe good optics. Yes, I honestly believe the rifle is like the least important part of your kit. It's one shot. You could do it with a Savage that costs $300 or $400 all day long. It's the least important part, but it's the one that is
or bows, like same category.
Yeah.
Like there's killers with old bows that are just still slaying year after year and not brand new bow.
I shot with a guy up at Big Sky. Outshot all of us. He used this white bow from like 2012 or something, 2010, and this guy doesn't kill any elk smaller than 370. He's one of the biggest elk killers. You don't even know him. He's not on like Instagram or anything.
Yeah.
One of the biggest elk killers in Montana, and he's shooting a crappy bow, and he's like, yeah, it just works. Why change it?
It works.
It works. But yeah, man. So I'm doing 30-06 for everything this year, just gonna prove a point. Like you don't. Yeah. Plus I'm on this big kick where 6.5 Creedmoor's not for elk, and everyone thinks it is. So I'm like on that kick too. I'm like, oh man, I don't know. So.
Well, we can fight about that one.
We shot the 7 PRC last year, and that was like my dream come true.
7 PRC. 7 PRC. So I shoot 280 Ackley a lot. Basically the same thing.
Yeah.
280 Ackley, 7 PRC is the same thing.
My grandpa gave me the podiatrist. He gave me his 7 mag, his featherweight. Just kicks the shit out of me when I was little, like hammer. So, but I've always loved the 7 mag, and I've always wanted it. And then when they finally came out with that, I was like, I'm in, and I loved it.
Well, honestly, I put a brake on that Browning. I brought it in, had my buddy put a brake on it for me, just because I want to be able to put a lot of rounds through it. And I can shoot 20 through it, but it doesn't get comfortable. So I'm like, put a brake on this thing for me and shoot it. So I mean, I will admit a 300 Win mag is going to kick. Every mag is going to kick. But yeah, I killed elk with a 260, which was a Creedmoor. To me, I just feel like that there's no placement for displacement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. You get a big heavy 7mm bullet in there, or a big heavy 30 caliber bullet in there. It's going to do a lot more damage.
You're absolutely right.
It's going to do it. So I'm glad we're talking about hunting now, because everyone wants to support a hunting company, right? And you guys could have went and did feet for whatever runners.
Yep.
And you could have done feet for all the granola eaters at REI.
Yep.
But you're doing it for hunters. And that's probably because you guys might hunt. Do you guys hunt?
No.
No, never?
Yeah, we hunt
I was
a
raised
lot.
hunting.
You were raised hunting. Where'd you grow up?
Orem, Provo.
Oh, up here. You grew up here?
In Utah.
Born here in Utah.
Okay,
my whole
good.
life.
I got to get some dirt on.
That's
Dang,
a
I
good
said it on the
unit.
podcast again. Dang it.
Just beep it out. You got pro stuff.
Yeah, beep that out. My kid drew a tag in Antarctica.
In Antarctica.
my kid that you measured his feet drew that tag this year. So
It's a great tag.
Cool.
Yeah. So you grew up hunting. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Avid waterfowl, big game. My dad was an avid hunter. He grew up in Brigham City. And just absolutely, it's the love of my life besides my wife.
Yep.
I love hunting.
How many kids you got?
3.
3 kids.
Yeah, I've got a daughter and then 2 sons.
Both the boys hunt?
Yep.
Both the boys hunt? Your daughter
And
hunt?
my daughter hunts.
Daughter
She
hunts
Yes,
too?
we all hunt.
Do you?
Grew up with it.
Okay, I have 5 kids. My daughter won't hunt. She's like, she'll go shoot with me, but she's not into it. Not her thing. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Wife hunts. Both of our wives hunt with us.
Really? So do you guys do like family elk camp and stuff still?
Deer camp's big for us every
Yeah.
year. So in Utah, it's really hard to get an elk tag. Not really an elk state as far as just opportunity. There's some over-the-counter opportunity, but not as far as just like quality elk hunting year after year. So, but we do have that opportunity with deer. So we do a family like deer camp every single
Big wall
year.
tent and
Just trailers now.
trailers now.
Yeah, now we have heaters, so everybody brings a trailer and we just hang out for the week. Or even if they don't have tags, like they still come down for the weekend.
Yeah.
And we all just like hang out and make those memories. It's really, really fun.
There's nothing better than sitting around a campfire. Even being with my kids, tell people all the time, like, 'cause we live in San Diego, so we got to drive. So I'm going to just probably put in, I don't even know, 500 hours this year driving, maybe more. But getting your kid in the car with you and 10 hours on driving and talking to them, and then getting out in the hills and getting wet together and getting miserable together, getting cold, packing an elk out together. that's why you got such a good relationship now. Like,
Yeah.
I attribute hunting to so much of that, to like the character my boys have, the hard work ethic my boys had. My boy's here working the booth right now for me. He was joking he works for free.
But he does, yeah.
I got him a pair of sheep's feet.
He eats and has a roof over his head. He can come hang out with Dad for a weekend.
But he's getting a lesson in business too, right? But there's nothing better.
I would stick him. We had horses, and I'd stick him on the pack saddles or on my saddle as we'd backpack way back in to hunt, and I'd look back and the boys would be half asleep or asleep, and
They just pinch my hands right around front. I just put my hands around him. He would just pinch it and then just go to sleep. Because where we hunted off horses, it was 4 or 5 hour ride in.
Yeah,
Really?
To get back in there. So, yeah, it was
we'd take
awesome.
the whole family in.
Really, do the
Yeah,
whole thing.
I'd take a train in, of horses before and pack the stuff in, and then we'd all go in a day or so before. It was unbelievably fun.
You know what I'm struggling with, and people told me this. I work so many hours, and now I'm full time, so I can hunt a lot more and be more with my family more, which is great. Man, everyone said like you're gonna miss this, you're gonna miss this. My oldest boy is turning 18 like next month, and man, I'm having a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna go off to school, and like this might be my last year hunting with him for a while. Maybe next year a little bit, but he's gonna be 20. He's gonna get married. Who knows how much he's gonna be able to hunt? Who knows what kind of job he wants to be a lawyer? And like reality is, he says he wants to hunt, but like you might not be hunting for another 10 years, bud. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or very minimal.
Hopefully he carves it out. I'm sure that you've hunted with him and he has those memories too.
Those
So
kids have
he's
killed
like,
a lot of stuff.
I gotta go every year. Like he
Yeah.
probably has the itch,
Yeah, he has the
the
itch.
passion. He needs it every year, I'm sure.
But man, like how big was that for you, being with your kids and doing that when they were young? Those memories, you can't get them back.
Do you know what? I'll tell you how big it was. I was a professional outfitter for many, many years. And one day we were at a Christmas party, and one of the grandmas said to my kids, when they were they were getting old enough to go, and said, "Boy, you're so lucky. Your dad's got horses and dogs. I had hounds and all this. You get to go with him all the time." And they kind of looked at each other and went, "No, Dad's guiding all the time." And that my heart just went and broke, and I gave up guiding and spent the time with my boys and my family instead of with some hunter. And it was the absolute best decision I ever made in my life.
Yeah.
And it's just made us a close family, and we all love to be together and to hunt. And so it was those memories I can never get back.
Yep.
Being with my boys when they were young and hunting.
You probably wouldn't have sheep feet if it wasn't for that.
Probably wouldn't.
Yeah. I love how Mark said that he hates doing podcasts, doesn't want to do it, and Mark just stole the whole show.
Yeah, he
He
did.
just freaking crushed this whole podcast.
He does.
But yeah, man, I love being out with my boys and doing it, and I can't get it back, and spending time with them. And I don't think I understood that when I was younger. I'm almost 40 now, and I'm really understanding, like, objects are so not important to me right now.
Right.
Spending time with my kids is more important. That's why my family's here with me this weekend, so they could be a part of this. And I want to be with them all the time. I want to get up and be with them because, man, like, they're getting older and they're leaving. They're going to get married. They're going to have their own kids. They're going to have their own wives. And even though the teenagers are a little bit difficult sometimes, especially my 18-year-old, sometimes you want to just throw him through a wall.
Yeah, you did that sometimes at 18, 19.
He's this branching off mode, right? Where he's becoming a man, but he's still calling me for grocery money when we were sitting here.
Yeah.
Now you're a man now. You need grocery money? You know what I mean? There's my kid right there, one of them. Man, what a good podcast. Why don't we end this thing with a hunting story?
Okay.
And then we'll wrap it up.
You looking at me?
Yeah.
Hunting
Tell a
story?
Why
Hunting
not?
story. Who got one? Tell us your first. Let's give me your first year. Give me your first year story.
First year hunting.
Your first deer.
Okay,
Deer.
we pack in. He takes me, right? We pack the horses and the mules in. We get there night before, set camp up. We're sitting there glassing, and I'm really fresh at this, so I don't really. I mean, I've gone out with him, but I've never like really worked for myself, so I'm like really into it. So I'm off glassing this ridge where we had packed in at base camp, and a hammer buck. Like
Yeah.
we're talking 200 plus.
Really?
Probably 205 if I had to put a number on it. Just crap, huge. And I'm like, right skyline, bedded on the skyline. Only reason I saw him because I'm 14 years old.
You
don't
found
know.
him?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
I spot him, and then I yell at him like, I found a big deer. And he comes over and he's like, where is it? I'm like, it's right on the skyline. And he's like, it's probably just a tree. And I'm like, I really think it's a deer. I've seen it move. And so he pulls the binoculars up and he goes, holy shit. And I knew it was big then. And he's like, that's huge. So then we're sitting there and we're like, okay, like we're going there opening morning. So then a couple of the other families that hunted that area with horses come in. We kind of go up and it's like, yeah, we're going on this ridge in the morning.
Have you told them what you haven't told them?
Oh,
Okay,
no.
yeah.
Not at all.
Are you kidding?
I love
Not
hunting for
at
this
all.
reason. Like we're the best loving liars in the world.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So he's like, we're going to go talk to everybody and let them know where we're hunting in the morning. So he goes
Just
up.
an easy place for my kids. Just let me have this
Yeah,
ridge in the morning.
Right, like not even the basins or anything. Like and it's way in there, but so it's still high elevation. But I mean, it's called the shooting gallery because that's where all the young kids shoot their first deer.
Okay.
But it's at the top, so it's a ways. So it's like, yeah, we're going up here. Gets it all dialed in. We go in opening morning and can't find them, can't get eyes on them, and so we just keep walking down the ridge. Stop, glass, wait. We can never get eyes because there's not really a good like spot to shoot from. Eventually, we catch them, and they're right below us, but they had already seen us, and so looking right at us wasn't even that deer. It was just another really good 4-point, probably like mid 170s buck, gorgeous. And I just instantly, as a kid, like there's a deer, just pulled my rifle up, put the crosshairs right between its eyes, and pulled the trigger.
Between his eyes.
Yeah, not so fresh, right? Not even just like excitement, and just ripped one off, missed, and it all hell just breaks loose. Deer just start
quail.
Yeah, just
Yes,
start
absolutely.
running
Covey quail.
everywhere.
That's how I always describe it.
So the whole little bachelor group just like takes off and they're running across the face, and I'm just like lobbing at them while they're running, just going crazy.
I have two boys who've both killed deer, and I've had circuses 9 shots to kill deer.
Yeah.
Like my son's first buck, 9 shots, and I'm like, how are you missing?
So I'm just
Well, I got to admit,
lobbing.
I was letting him just go because I was looking for the big one.
You have a tag too?
Huh?
You have a tag too?
Oh, yeah. That's when it was basically open.
So I'm just lobbing at them, and they're taking off, blowing out of there. They go up the way we walked down the ridge. They go back and then up and over. And I'm furious as a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
it's
hard.
just like
I've had the
so
tears.
hard,
I've
right?
had the tears of the kids.
And he's like, it's okay, keeping me all pumped up. And he's like, we're going to hike back up to the top of the ridge, and we're going to sit there. Like, it's fine. And some of the deer had blown down into the
Bottom of the
ravine.
draw.
Yeah, the bottom of the draw below us. So we hike up to the top, and we're sitting there, and I'm just so mad at myself and beaten down. And then he's just still pumping me up. He's like, listen, a lot of the deer went down. They're going to try and come back. There's a good chance they try and get back with the bachelor group. And we're sitting there, and 10 minutes haven't gone by, and we see this deer just sneaking its way back up. It was a 2-point, 2x3. And, I mean, it was just all bets were off at that point, right?
It's the perfect
And
first deer.
So he's coming
first
up. He's coming up, and it gets me on it. And now at this time, there's no buck fever. I'm just so upset. And I'm just like, I can't hit it anyway. Just like a dumb little kid. And then I just, boom, smashed him, dropped him. He was at like 400 or something like that, 350. And then he died, and we walked down there, and he died right next to the tree, like at the exact tree that my dad proposed to my mom at.
No way.
Yeah, so it was just like a really cool first deer. And then it was like, I was through the moon. Just so excited,
stoked.
just stoked, right?
It's so fun. Like I didn't kill a deer until this January from 2019. All I've been doing is guiding my kids. So I mean, they've both killed like 4 deer now, antelope, elk, and I've just been guiding pigs, the whole thing, you know. And you get so much more joy, and you'll get experience at some point too. With your
I just
kids.
had our first kid.
Your first kid.
He's
little
4
boy.
months, and I already can't wait.
Yeah, you can't. But there's no better feeling than getting your kid a deer. And I've had that same circus, like where the kids are just going like, and you're sitting there like, what are you shooting at? my other son's first deer, he had a doe tag. It was his second deer. He got the buck first. And we get to this deer, and we ended up hiking from the truck up top of this ridge, and then find this deer right by the truck. So we had to hike all the way back down.
Done that a few times.
And we're like, we get to like 300 yards. We couldn't get any closer. It's open desert stuff. And so I I lay him down, and we're laying in a pile of red ants. I don't realize this. I'm just getting bit. And I'm like, hold on, let me get your scope. He's shooting my 260. It's got a big break on it. Let me get your scope. I'm going to grab this hook. Touches one off. Blows my ear. My left ear is still blown out from that day. He blew my ear off. Misses. Dials in. Misses more time. Then dials in and just hammers it. Gets it. But it's just like, kids, it's fun. It's a rodeo. But, man, I'll tell you what. That doe is way more exciting than any of the bucks I killed. Like the deer I killed a bomber down in Sonora this year, and I would trade that buck for any of my kids' deers.
I remember one when we were elk hunting, and we were driving, going back to camp, and here comes a whole herd across from us, and Caleb was on it. Dad, they won't stop. They won't stop. I said, okay, that last cow, I'm going to stop her right in the hill. And I can't make it. It's a long shot. So I cow called, and they all stop and look at us, and he shoots and just pounds her, and she goes right down.
That's awesome.
And he was so excited.
Yeah, it's cool. And I'm just excited to be able to relive all those firsts again.
Yeah, you are.
Once he's older.
Yeah. And the boys, it does slow down too. You have to have those circuses to get to the one shots. Because my boys have had a bunch of one shots now. I mean, they just freaking hammer. I mean, like the kid that you measured his feet, he has ice in his veins. That kid's a killer.
That's sweet.
It's the older one that gets a little bit shaky on the trigger. But, dude, that kid there, man, he's just like, he shot a buck up here in Utah at 385. Freaking dropped him. I was like, whoa.
That's sweet.
Glassed him up, made it like a 1,000-yard stock, got over there and just freaking hammered him. Yeah, he's a killer, man. He killed a cow this year, same way. They both did. Had a good time. So, man, you guys are a success story. SheepFeet, go check them out. Go get a pair. I just bought 4 pairs because I'm sold on them because everyone I know is running them. And thanks, guys.
I appreciate you doing this. This was fun.
We're excited to use your tripods this
we
year.
got those
what
finally.
tripods you guys running this year?
The Tricers.
Tricers, of course you are.
The one everybody's talking about.
That's awesome. Oh, thanks, guys. Let's do it again.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks.